Good morning once again. I am Tembeli Shenjangase, Marketing Manager at EBSCO. Thank you so much for making the time to join today's session. Before we start, I'd like to cover or review some housekeeping items with you. The session is recorded and all attendee lines are muted. If you do experience any technical challenges, please let me know in the chat box. If you have any questions for the speakers, please also let us know in the chat box and we will address them at the end of the session. We do have a prize draw at the end of the session as well, so please stick around until the end of the session to find out if you are a winner. Without any further ado, I'm going to hand over to our speaker for the day, Mose. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tembelihle, and good morning, everyone. And thank you so much for joining us for coffee this morning. And I really believe that we're going to have a great coffee together. So let's drink together. So as Tembelihle has already introduced me, my name is Mosebe Adipeche and I'm the Regional Sales Manager for EBSCO. And today I am not alone. I am with my colleague, Dean Kearns, who's also the Regional Sales Manager at EBSCO. And so today we'll be talking to you about the EBSCO databases that we've added to our collection. So we continue to add more content to assist users in terms of their research and their academic work. So the databases that we've added is CAP abstract with full text, food science and technology abstract with full text, and veterinary source. All these databases were not previously available in full text, and we have made the full text available. So as a user, when you finally find that article that you are looking for your research, it is one of the greatest feelings that one has. You almost can't wait to start with your work. And then this happens. You can't get to the full text. And then frustration kicks in. And this is one of the frustrations that our users go through on a daily basis. So I actually have a question for you, Dean. What normally happens whenever users can't get to a full text of an article? They found this article that they really love, they can't wait to start with their research, and they can't get to the full text of that article. What do they do?
Hi, Mose. Thanks for the question. So I don't know if any of you attended our recent TIUG day where we actually asked a number of students for some feedback on their interactions with EBSCO resources and how they found the resources and what would happen if they couldn't find what they were looking for, what was the next steps. And some of the interesting information that we found is that students often get to this point where they have this decision to make. Do we carry on using EBSCO host or the vetted resources that the library's provided? Or do I go back to Google where I know I can find, as students would think, I can find everything? And do I conduct my searches there? And with this whole discussion, it's always something that we like to try and prevent. We don't want students to be leaving that library environment and going onto Google and using content that's made freely available on the internet. And there's a number of reasons why. So I'm going to highlight a couple of reasons. So if we move to the next slide, the first option is authoritative content. So on EBSCO host, you've got a lot of your reliable, high quality articles, and this is all vetted by the librarians and to make sure that this is available and relevant for all of your students. Whereas on a free internet search, anyone can publish their content. It's made available on any number of sites and it's not being policed. So it's very hard to know what the students are using, and it's very hard for them to also decide what is the best content to be using. The second point is in terms of relevance. So when a student enters a search result, when they enter a search term, what results are they actually going to get? So on EBSCO host, using our relevance algorithm and value rankings, we're not determining those results on a geographic location or a behavior or anything like that. We're actually using those terms to provide the most relevant and up-to-date content. Whereas on the internet and on those free internet searches, you're often going to get content based on where you live or your recent searches. The third item is in terms of your limiters and filters. So now, once you've conducted your search, you get a large number of search results, and users always want something very specific. So how do they now start limiting down to get that relevant content? And this is where those limiters and filters are very important on EBSCOhost. And a lot of you will know of those filters. You would have used them before and seen them before. So this really does make that narrowing of information a lot easier. Whereas on your free internet searches, you don't have that same ability to limit your searches and be as granular to get those results that you're looking for. The fourth item is in terms of your citation assistance. So you're doing your research and now you need to cite those results. Within EBSCOhost, you can view, save, print, email, or even export citations for all of your articles. And that can also be done in many different formats. Whereas on free internet search, there's no similar feature available. So your end users are then going to have to go and create that citation on their own and do all of that work for all of the sites that they would be accessing. And then the last and fifth item to look at is saved searches and results. So when you have done all your searching and you want to go back to it at a later stage, within EBSCOhost, you can save all of those searches within your password protected folder, and you can come back to that at a later stage or at the end of a research project or assignment. Once you are doing your citations, you can come back and do that at a later stage. Whereas on a free internet search, you're not going to have that function available. You're going to have to interact with that article at the time that you find it, do your referencing, make sure that you use the article, and then move on. So those are some of the important considerations and the reasons why it is very vital that we make sure we're keeping our users within the EBSCOhost environment instead of reverting to a free internet search. So back to you, Moses.
Thank you. And I totally agree with you, Dean. We don't want users going back to the open web because the library has invested so much in these resources. So I actually do have another question, really. Why are full text databases important? Why should institutions invest in full text databases at all?
So we all know that, when your users are doing research, they're going to be doing the research for whether it's an assignment, for a thesis, or even just for, a particular course that they're studying in. And while we all know the value of the abstract and index, those indexes within all of those databases, it's also vital that we get that full text content to sort of enrich the results that your end users are getting. So one of the first things why it's of a big benefit to have that full text is it is easy to search across because it's similar to your web searching. And this comes from that Google experience. So when users conduct a search on Google, there'll often be an associated link to a website where they can get that additional full text content, or to a PDF document or a video, whatever content they're looking to access, that is made available on the web searching. And with having a full text database, you're going to mimic that experience. The second thing, as I touched on briefly, is that you will also just get more information. So that enriched level of information. So if you're doing your research and you need to be able to add and understand that concept and be able to actually further your research, it's vital that we have that additional information on the topic that's being searched. The third item is within that full text result, when you start looking at some of the referencing and citation and some of the information that's being spoken about, some of the key terms that are being used, etc., you're also going to discover related results or related information, which is a vital part of research. You don't only want to search your particular term that you've conducted a search for, but if you can discover alternative terms, alternative papers that have maybe been published in that same area, etc., it really does enrich that whole experience for the end user. And then the last item is abstract. while they're very valuable, and we all understand the value that those indexes can provide, it can be a bit of a frustration for the end users if they can't find that full text. And that will lead back to the point that we've just discussed, where they might consider then leaving the library environment and leaving these resources that are vetted for them to revert back to a free internet search. Thanks, Mose.
Hey, thank you so much, Dean. That was very informative. And just to add again to say, abstracts, they are very, very valuable, but there are some limitations to them as well. So the first database that we're going to look at is CAP Abstract with full text. So CAP Abstract with full text, as I've mentioned already, it wasn't previously available in full text, but we have made it available in full text now, just to eliminate some of those concerns that we've just mentioned in terms of you hit an abstract and then you can't get to the full text. CAP Abstract with full text is produced by an organization called KEBI, which is a nonprofit organization. KEBI provides content in the area of applied life sciences for institutions. So in terms of this database, these are just some of the subjects that are covered within your CAP Abstract with full text. And in terms of the content, because we have released this database this year, and this is the amount of content that we started with initially. And as we're adding more content, the number is increasing. As you can see, we keep on growing the content to ensure that we provide you with the information that you are looking for. So one of the outstanding features of EBSCO is the EBSCO Smart Links. So the EBSCO Smart Links actually points the user to where the full text is actually available in other databases that you may be already subscribing to through your EBSCO, such as academic search. So there are some of you that are already subscribing to CAP Abstract. So there is actually an option for you to host the CAP Abstract through EBSCO if you are going KEBI Direct, for example. So the benefit is that when you host through EBSCO Host or EDS, you will then have you will benefit from the smart links, in that you will get that linking to where the full text is. And also, should you want to know more about how do I move from KEBI Direct to EBSCO, you can just get in touch with us or your EBSCO rep, and we'll explain in more detail in terms of how you can go about that so that you can benefit from what I've just mentioned. So the content from CAP Abstract with full text is really from various geographical areas, as you can see here. And as I've mentioned earlier, that we keep on adding content. So we do have Figile Dlame, who is our publisher relations manager, who works in terms of ensuring that we keep on getting more content from various areas. Now, these are just some of the top journals that are available in agriculture within the CAP Abstract with full text. And within the CAP Abstract with full text, you actually will be getting so much content that is unique to CAP Abstract with full text. This amount of content, you will not get it through the current CAP Abstract or any version of academic search, as I've mentioned already. So this is the amount of unique full text that you will be getting, just uniquely available in CAP Abstract with full text. In terms of the benefits of why should I then now move over to CAP Abstract, we've emphasized already that you will get access to full text articles. And you also have the ability to scroll through individual journals, and you can also create your own list as well, title list within the database. So with all that I've mentioned, the amount of content that is available, the full text that you can get access to, and the journals that are available through this database, if you were to think about it, if you were to buy each journal and each article individually, you will actually pay a fortune. You'll pay close to this scary number that is on your screen right now if you were to buy them individually. But if you buy it as a database that we've put together, as I've shared with you, you will pay quite a very small fee in comparison to buying it individually. So there is that other benefit of buying it as a database, and we've aggregated the content for you already. So with that said, I'm gonna hand over to Dean, who will take us through the rest of the databases that we are sharing with you today. Over to you, Dean.
Thanks, Mose. And I think that's a great start for everyone. And with us looking at the full text content that's being made available, particularly in an area like agriculture that is so important within Africa. I think there's a lot of institutions that this would really make a big difference for us. So along with the CAB abstracts with full text database, we've got FSTA with full text. And I know a number of institutions over the years have used FSTA, so food science and technology abstracts. And with the full text content now being added, all of those advantages and sort of benefits that we spoke about earlier in the presentation will also apply in this instance. So before I go into my slides, I want to play a short video from FSTA. So I'm going to start that for you, and then we will carry on with the slides.
Science fuels FSTA. FSTA fuels innovation. What fuels your researchers? FSTA is the food and science resource. Produced by IFIS, it is the essential source for food science and technology content. FSTA covers research and developments in the areas of food science, food technology and nutrition, from farm to fork and beyond. Expert scientists at IFIS evaluate and summarize source material, and FSTA delivers the latest findings in all sciences relevant to food, drink, and nutrition. FSTA provides researchers with content from thousands of sources, including journals, trade publications, books, patents, standards, and conference proceedings. With the most accurate subject taxonomy, FSTA helps ensure that researchers quickly and easily find the most relevant information. Scientists in IFIS in the fields of food science and technology, nutrition, biology, plant science, biotechnology, and more create and use an exceptional thesaurus with over 10,700 terms. FSTA covers topics related to every aspect of food and nutrition. This includes all major food and drink commodities and related pure and applied sciences. FSTA includes more than 1 million records from over 4,600 publications. Expert scientists create informative abstracts from publications, which are continually reviewed for relevancy and focus. Adding new content weekly, FSTA covers a broad scope of information with content in 29 languages and records dating back to 1969. Let FSTA fuel the future of your food science research.
So after having watched that video, I don't know if any of you picked up on it, but I thought it was quite entertaining, and I quite liked the little sort of slogan, if you want to call that, from farm to fork. And I think that that's where FSTA really comes in, and it gives us information in terms of that whole process regarding your food and nutrition. So FSTA with full text was produced in collaboration with IFIS. So EBSCO has been working with IFIS for a number of years on this database, making sure that we're licensing the correct content, licensing those journals that are of most benefit, and making sure that they're available for the institutions in full text. And this is available exclusively on the EBSCO platforms. The big benefit with FSTA with full text is while we're getting all of those full text results now, we're also going to get those traditional strings of the abstract and index database. And these will include the indexing, which obviously will assist your users in carrying out those specific and efficient searches. So when we look back to comparing your EBSCO host searches versus your free internet or Google searches, how do we make sure they're getting that relevant, up-to-date content? Is we're using those indexes that are created. The journal assessment process by IFIS ensures that there's no predatory journals are included. And this is very important to make sure that end users are not getting content that is going to be predatory or harmful towards their research and learning. And then from an EBSCO and an IFIS point of view, we always like to support institutions with training and promotional materials for all of these resources that are made available. So let's take a little step back and look at a little bit about IFIS. It's a non-profit academic organization or publishing organization, and they have an ongoing commitment to support those studying and working in the food and nutrition area. They want to preserve integrity and accuracy in the fields of food and beverage, and also further learning and development in all of these subject areas revolving around food. So while we have all of those core areas that focus on food, nutrition, beverages, etc., there's also some related fields, and this is where the aggregated content included in databases of great value is. You're not only going to get the search term that you look for. I mentioned a little bit earlier when we were looking at some of the benefits of full text searching, you're going to get those related terms and related areas of interest. And these are some of the areas that would be included with FSTA with full text. Is you've got biotechnology, food safety, omics technologies, pet foods, sports science, and also sustainability. So with this being a new database, when we were ready to release these databases in January 2022, at that time, you will see that these were the title counts. So in terms of active full text journals, there were just over 250 titles. And of those 252 titles, 186 of them were unique titles. So these are not going to be available in your academic search databases and other databases within EBSCO host. So you're really getting good value in terms of the unique content that's maybe not available anywhere else in an aggregated format. And Mose touched on it a little bit earlier. From an EBSCO point of view, we always want to be licensing new content, adding to our databases, and making sure that the content being delivered to your end users is up to date. So at December 2022, the projected numbers for this database will be over 300 full text journals, and over 230 of those will be unique journals to this particular database. Again, we always like to highlight that sort of worldwide nature of the publishing and where that content is coming from. So you'll see there's a good spread of content. In terms of the Sub-Saharan African content, if there are any journals and publishers that any of you are working with that is not available at this time, please always send that information to us and we will pass that on to Fikile, and hopefully we can look at growing this content. As we mentioned in previous slides, we want to make sure that the most relevant and most appropriate content is being added constantly. In terms of the full text titles that are available with no embargo, these are a couple of the titles. So you've got food protection trends, food science and technology, as well as the Journal of Food Science. And these are just a couple of titles that I hope some of you will recognize these. And then those 250 odd full text titles now, if as an institution, you had to approach each of those publishers individually and request an annual subscription. If you got all 250 titles for your institution, it's going to be just under $200,000 worth of subscriptions on an annual basis. So you can see it as a highly valuable collection of journals, but with the way that EBSCO has aggregated this content and made it available within a database on the EBSCO host and EBSCO Discovery Service platforms, it really would be a fraction, a very small fraction of this price to make that available for you. So moving on to our last database, we're going to be looking at Veterinary Source. And over the years, I know that this is one of the areas of interest that has popped up a few times where institutions have asked, do have any content that's available for veterinary science and those areas of study. And up until now, we haven't had anything focused in that area. So this is a great offering. So Veterinary Source provides access to research on the prevention, control, diagnosis, and treatment of diseases and injuries in animals. Now, if we're looking at some of the subject areas that are included, it's animal pathology and parasitology, anatomy and physiology, nutrition, diagnosis, etc. So it really does cover a wide range of information. And you'll see it also touches on nutrition. So this ties into FSTA and CAB abstracts in terms of food, nutrition, all of that information. So again, in January 2022, when this product was released, initially there was 238 full text titles, and just over 170 of those were unique titles. And as we're growing that collection, we're hoping to get those numbers up over 250 full text titles, with more than 200 of those being unique. So the work is still ongoing in terms of licensing content for this particular database. Here's a quick overview of the content and where it's coming from. So again, a nice spread across the globe in terms of publishing and where the information is available. So we're not just going to get a sort of one-sided view of this subject area. We will get European, American, as well as North African and Sub-Saharan African content being made available. The full text titles that are available with no embargoes is a few of them to name. So we've got Dog Behavior, the Journal of Feline Medicine and Surgery, and Veterinary Pathology. And then, as we've done with the previous databases, just to indicate some of the value that is within this database. So if you subscribe to each of those 230 titles as an institution, it's just under $110,000 worth of value. So from an EBSCO point of view, if we just look at the three databases that we've looked at this morning, and if you had to subscribe to each of those journals, it's well over $1.2 million worth of content that's being made available and aggregated for your institutions. But if you would like to explore any of these databases, whether you would like to look at some pricing, whether you would like to look at a trial, please reach out to any of us, and we're happy to provide that information and to set up any trial access for you so that we can explore that option further. So that brings us to the end of the slides for this morning. With that, I wanted to see if there were any questions that either Mose or I could address for anyone.
There are no questions at the moment. Thank you.
Okay, that's perfect. Well, if there are any questions, and we'll give it a second or two if anyone does think of anything you would like to ask. But at a later stage, if you do have any questions or you would like to reach out to us regarding trials or pricing or anything like that, I have included Mose's email address as well as mine, or you can reach out to any of us that you normally deal with, whether it's Tian, Sean, Lebo, Kobela, whoever you normally liaise with. Please reach out to us, and we're happy to provide that additional information for you and also set up any trial access. So with that, I think we're going to do the draw for our prize. Annika, can I hand over to you?
Yes, absolutely, Dean. Thank you for everybody that joined, and I get to do the nice part, not present, but to spin the wheel. So let's see. Dean, can you just confirm if you see the wheel?
Yes, we do see it.
Okay, so let's see who today's lucky winner is. It is a 500 Rand Take a Lot gift voucher, as well as a 6-month subscription to either the academic or business ebook collection for 6 months. So let's go and see. Francis. Can Frances maybe just raise the hand on the chat to let us know if she's here? Tembi, can you just monitor that, please?
It doesn't look like he's here. We can, I think we need to spin again.
Okay, I'm going to spin the wheel again. Let's go. Oh dear, there we go. Almost. Joy?
Joy is also not here.
Oh my goodness. Okay, let's try. Hopefully, third time lucky.
Yeah.
Missed them all up. Oh dear, sorry, I should have removed Joy. Apologize for that.
Okay.
Okay, fourth time. Let's hope. Apros?
Absent.
Oh my God, I don't know. Maybe I should go work in a casino.
I was going to say, with your luck today, Annika, don't go to the casino.
Yes, definitely not. Okay, let's hope. Fifth time lucky.
Crossing fingers.
Anita?
Anita. Oh, no.
I don't know.
This is fun.
Or not. Okay, let's try lucky number 6. Oh, it doesn't want to spin anymore. There we go. Even the wheel is tired now.
You've exhausted all your spins.
Lungi.
Lungi is also not here. I think what we can do is the next name, we'll just have to give them the prize.
Okay, let's go then. Lucky number 7. Oh, so 7 is a lucky number, right?
Yeah, should be the last one.
Nompumelelo.
Well, Nompumelelo Kanyila is the winner.
Okay, the your AE or your regional sales manager will reach out to you regarding the ebook subscription, and then you'll hear either from me or Tembelichle regarding your voucher. Over back to you, Lichle.
Okay. Thank you, Annika, and congratulations to Nompumelelo. Thank you to our speakers for the day, Dean and Mose. The recording will be available on our YouTube channel, EBSCO Sub-Saharan Africa. You can just search for it. If you missed any of the previous sessions, they're also available there. Our next session is on Thursday on Ultimate Databases. Please sign up for that if you haven't. And thank you so much for joining today's session. Have a great day further.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.